What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenneth Smith, and today's episode, I'm sitting down with my good friend Cody Fernley, content creator, athlete, and the guy behind a ton of the video work you might see from Price Plow and Bev Lab. He's a husband, an endurance athlete in the middle of an Ironman 70.3 prep, and most importantly, he's somebody who's grounded in his faith and obsessed with doing hard things to grow. We get into how training becomes something that can help you excel in all areas of life, why showing up on the days you absolutely don't feel like it changes who you are, and how chasing hard things and hard workouts carries over into marriage, work, and everything else you're responsible for. Cody talks about his journey from an athlete to bodybuilding to fixing his relationship with food and now stepping into triathlon and Ironman training. Not just to look a certain way, but to become a different person. We also talk about fueling and macros, content creation in the supplement and energy drink space, betting on yourself, and what it really looks like to trust that God has a bigger plan than anything we could ever imagine for ourselves. If you've been fighting that little voice that says you're not good enough or who do you think you are, this conversation is going to hit. So let's dive in with Cody. Cody, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm stoked.
Absolutely, man. And I had to save the crack for this moment.
You know I'm here too. Ready?
Nice.
Beautiful. It's a raspberry cream kind of day.
It's a raspberry cream kind of day because I ran out last week and I just got them back. So
I just saw the re-up.
Yeah.
Nice.
You got the Warheads Black Cherry, huh?
One of my favorites. After visiting Ghost HQ a few weeks ago, I got a taste of it again, and then I hopped home, ordered some on Amazon, and about to order another case soon. I'm freaking obsessed. I forgot how much I love this one.
That is one of those flavors that I forget. I have a ton in my fridge, and I forget I have it, and then when I have one, I'm like, holy shit, why don't I have this more? Because it's that good. I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's the best of the Warheads, which might be a little bit of a hot shot, but
say it louder for the people.
I want to say it because the other ones I feel like I need to really be in the mood for something very sour, and I can't drink them every day. Versus that one, it's a little bit toned down, so I could drink it every day.
But just enough to friggin' make you feel that Warhead sour.
Exactly. Which reminds me, what do you feel like, and this might be a loaded question right off the bat, but what do you feel like is one of the best energy drinks of 2025, Mr. Bev Lab?
Oh, let's go. We're getting down in the details already. Let's do this. So I actually just filmed our Bev Labs 2025 Ennies of the Year Awards. That video will be dropping here later this week.
Nice.
But I will say, man, I am a fan of Misfit Energy. I am a fan of the flavors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of how unique of a take they produce on their flavors, along with a loaded formula with premium ingredients like alpha wave L-theanine, one of our favorites, cognizant acetylcholine. Like it's a banger drink.
You got all of the good stuff. I remember when I first heard of them, somebody was like, "Oh, you got to try Misfit," and I was like, "Never even heard of Misfit." And then I slipped into their DMs, and then they slipped right back on in, and they were like, "Hey, we'll send you some drinks." And I was like, "Sounds great." And I think the first one that I tried was the key lime pie because I was like trying to figure out, no, it was the blueberry cake,
that's right.
Because it's such a unique flavor. I was like, I've seen blueberry, I've seen, blue, but I've never seen a blueberry cake. And it
was super interesting. Super interesting.
And then you turned me on to the key lime pie, and I had to try that one because everybody was blowing it up. And that is probably one of the better citruses on the market.
I think their blueberry cake and key lime pie are honestly probably like a top 5, both of them, in what they offer. And I remember like when I was talking to you about Misfit, you're like, you need to try the blueberry cake. And I'm like, you need to try the key lime pie. And together, I mean, they're both just crazy good.
Yeah, definitely one of the better brands that most people don't even know exist.
But people will. People will. In 2026, I think they're going to have a way bigger year in one aspect or another. They're one of those brands that you look at and you're like, I'm surprised that you're not bigger. I'm surprised more people don't know about you, but great things take time. and I think they're on a really, really good track. I'm excited for
Mhm.
them.
Yeah, same. Outside of Misfit, what are some of the other top brands that you were looking into?
So, of course, we got to go with Ghost Energy as being one of them. It's people hate on them because they're one of the best, and they're undisputably one of the best. Like you can't make a good argument for not liking them. I think of it as like when I used to watch the NBA a lot. I didn't like Steph Curry. Why?
Yeah.
Because he was so freaking good, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's kind of like Ghosts. They're the undeniable good that they're gonna be hated.
True. I
Aside
mean,
from
I
like,
get comments on TikTok too of people like Ghost sucks. No, just I
I'm
know
like,
that's an opinion.
tell me how.
That's an opinion, but tell me how. Like they literally will be like all their flavors taste the same. They all taste weird. You're telling me that raspberry cream tastes the same as sour watermelon warheads? Because I'm not seeing it, you know?
Facts. Yeah, yeah, if you can't make an argument about artificial colors because they don't have any.
Hmm.
You for sure can't make a fact that, or you can't make an argument that they're not authentic in every collab that they've had because blindfolded, whether it's across protein, pre-workout, energy drinks, if they have a collaboration, you're blindfolded, you are 100% going to get that exact taste. I
Absolutely. The
firmly
Welch's
believe that.
continues to blow me away. Like that Welch's is Welch's.
I almost reached for it today. It's always looking at me in the fridge of like, it's always
Hmm.
there. It's always a classic banger.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Misfit, Ghost, some bangers out there. I mean, I think it's been a really
Mhm.
big year for Ghost too, not just with energy drinks, but just all around. I feel like they just continue to drop product after product after product. When I see them launch something, I'm like, I feel like I'm only covering Ghost on my page, but it's because Ghost is the only one doing anything.
For sure. It's a crazy, and we even got a sneak peek of what's coming on Black Friday, and
Yeah, crazy.
they're coming in with another product that is just gonna be like, holy crap, how can you add on to what you've already brought to the market with energy drinks this year, with Rise Fest stuff, or when we were young, like festival partnerships, Ghost protein bars, cereal, like
Hmm.
what more can you do? And they're still leveling it up.
Yeah, I know you went out there to Ghost HQ in Las Vegas when you were out there for Supply Side West. How was that experience?
It was awesome. Supply side is literally the Super Bowl of the supplement industry.
Yeah, I never
It's
heard of it. And then when you guys were talking all about it, I started looking into it. I was like,
it's
damn, I need to be
crazy.
here. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, you definitely need to come next year. It is literally just all the friends and partnerships that we have throughout the year, and we're talking on Zooms or talking on Signal or Slack, whatever, emails, and you finally get together and just get to enjoy the excitement of what's to come in the next year or celebrating big wins that happened in the prior year. Um, it's an experience that anybody who is in like the supplement industry or manufacturing, whatever it may be, you should try and definitely get to Supply Side West because there's or Supply Side Global now.
Mm.
It is just an awesome experience.
Yeah. And I think looking at all of the different, manufacturers and ingredients and all these things, it's really allowing me to see how much the industry is innovating. I think over like the last couple of years, it's been pretty wild, and I can only see 2026 being even more so.
Let me flip this back at you. What innovation are you excited for next year? You've seen a
Man,
lot.
I don't know. I feel like we're going to see more functional ingredients used in things more than just energy drinks. I believe like things like nootropics, like Cognizant and stuff, I can see them being in just like drinks, period. Like, hey, this is a nootropic drink. And I think that that'll become bigger and bigger because I feel like more people are leaning heavier towards um energy drinks that have those ingredients versus just like a monster at the gas station, you know? So like
Uh-uh.
this protein and oatmeal packet has like 30 grams of protein, really good ingredients. And they innovated and created this creatine bar. So it's like a protein bar that has creatine in it. And so I feel like that's also going to be another thing that we see is creatine literally being in absolutely everything. Now, the only caveat with that is like, how is the creatine hanging on for dear life on the shelf, you know?
That was my question when you just brought that up of like, I
Hmm.
know creatine isn't very water soluble, so Creabev is like huge for that, but what's it like in
Exactly.
foods?
that's the question, right? Because I look at like everybody taking these gummies and I'm like, it's
Mm,
better than not taking anything. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to be good old, boring, old powdered creatine. Everyone just wants to make it different. The gummy and like the candy side of things seems to really be like blowing up a little bit. I saw Bucked
hmm
Up dropped a creatine candy, which was different than the gummy.
hmm
But
hmm
still, again, what you say is like it's water soluble, so it kind of dissipates over time. So are we actually getting the dosage that is claimed is the big thing with the creatine stuff?
And you're like me, where if the package says I'm gonna get 5 grams of creatine per couple gummies or whatever, I want to know that that is the case because we as athletes are looking for every inch that we can, and that means it's taking these things daily.
Mm-hmm.
And we're definitely going to see a difference in our performance if we're only taking a gram and a half of creatine a day.
Got to think about it like this. The creatine gummies, every time I look at them, I'm like, oh, this is like a fun thing, but do I really want to get like an extra 10 grams of carbs just from my creatine when I could be utilizing it from real food, you know?
Correct. Correct.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
with you there.
Yeah, a lot to unpack, but let's get into who you are, right? Because we just kind of hopped into this. People be like, "Who's Cody?" I feel like I know the voice because maybe you, if you follow me, I feel like you probably, or at least you should follow Cody. But Cody, if we were in an Uber and the Uber driver turned around and was like, "What do you do? Who are you?" What would you say?
First off, I'm a child of God. I believe in Jesus is my personal Lord and Savior, and I wouldn't be anywhere where I am today without His grace and this being on the content creation side of like, there's just some things that you want to keep offline. And that's
Right.
because the more things that you keep public, the more people are just peering into your lives and feel like they have a say in stuff. And my marriage is personally like one of the most protected things I want to have. And so I want that to be just between me and my spouse. And keeping the Lord at the front of that is the only way I know that we'll have a successful marriage.
Hmm. And I love that you
So
said that because I really don't think that people I don't think that people think that enough when it comes to marriage and when it comes to incorporating God within your marriage. And what I've learned is when when me and my husband grow stronger with Christ together, we grow stronger together, period.
with my in-laws, with my parents, and everything that goes in it, and especially on the hard days of work and being in such a materialistic and honestly voyeuristic lifestyle where everyone can just peer into our lives and kind of feel like they know us. It just
Hmm.
sets perspective like at the end of the day, everything's stripped away. What would I be? I'm a child of God, and I'm just someone trying to be a little more like Jesus every day. And I know I can't do it, but that's the beauty of Jesus' grace, you know? None of us deserve it, but by God, we earned it or we didn't earn it. Jesus earned it on the
Yeah,
cross
he earned
for
it for
us.
us. Amen. I love
Exactly.
that.
It's beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, but aside from that, I'm a content creator. I'm an athlete. I just love doing hard things at the end of the day. I've been really looking forward to this conversation with you because we're very similar in a lot of the things we do. And I think even
Hmm.
though I haven't met you in person, I just feel like I know that you're a person like me. You wake up, you want to do something challenging because you know that leads into growth in all areas of life,
Hmm.
um, especially hard training. It really prepares you for hard things that do arise in marriage, in life, in things, because you know that if I can put myself through this, I can put myself through anything. And if you start your day with something hard, it makes all the other challenges throughout the rest of the day a little bit more manageable, honestly.
Incredible point. One thing that I always say is the more adversity that I face in training, the more adversity that I'm able to overcome in life. And
Mhm.
I think like the training that I do on a daily basis that and you do as well is like grueling, right? Sometimes you don't want to be doing the stuff that you're doing, but you know that there's a
Yesterday.
purpose
Yep.
for this pain and the pain is temporary. And when you're able to overcome that pain and then something comes up in life that pushes you and makes you feel overwhelmed, you can look back and say, well, I was able to do that. I can do this. I can handle this, you know?
It's a little cheesy. It was a little corny, I thought when I heard this. And I just heard this a couple weeks ago. The quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, Skull JG McCarthy. He takes ice baths, and someone asked him about it, and he was like, honestly, I view life like I can either seek out the cold or the cold is going to seek out me. So I choose to seek out the cold. And that's how I think we both approach life of we could either avoid the hard things now and life is going to hit us and we're not going to know how to manage it, or we could seek out the hard things, know how to deal with it so that when life does come, the battles the battles aren't as bad. They're more manageable and we know how to deal with them.
Yeah, all these things that we do on a daily basis, these hard things, these challenging things, the cold things, right? They make us more resilient towards everything else that's going on. It's kind of like mental calluses that we're building.
hmm And when I tell people all the time when they want to start something hard, I'm like, honestly, just show up. Just
Yep.
show up day after day, and then you'll build a consistency to that so that on the days that you don't want to do it, you're able to. Like yesterday was a prime example. I did not want to do the workouts that I needed to do. I had a hard ass threshold bike yesterday that I procrastinated and I could feel it. And I had so much mental talk of like, talking to myself like, why am I feeling so much resistance to do this? Why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling that? Didn't matter because at the end of the day, I hopped on it. I did what I could. Was it my best workout? No, but it was 1,000 times more beneficial than me saying, you know what, I'm going to take this off because I don't feel like it, and I'm just going to go sit on the couch or whatever. And that's the
Hmm.
key to success in anything.
Yep, 100%. I had one of those moments. I have it quite often, but last week specifically, I think it was Monday. I had a really tough 40-minute interval training session with burpee box jump overs and thrusters and max bike. It was miserable. Um, and I was literally just, I had everything set up and I was just walking around my garage, just pacing a little bit. And I had the timer all ready to go. All I needed to do was just like hit start. I verbally said to myself out loud, well, the work's not going to fucking do itself. And I just touched it and went, you know? And yesterday or this Monday, I was having a pretty emotional day. I was kind of talking to you a little bit about it, but I was just like feeling overly anxious for really no good reason and about to get into my intervals. And as soon as I went to hit it, I started getting like, oh my gosh, like I might have a panic attack right now. And I was like, the only thing that's going to make me feel better is if I actually do the work here, as opposed to if I just said, you know what, I'm not going to do this, go back inside, calm down. I would have looked back later when I felt better and thought, wow, I'm really mad that I didn't do that, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the beauty of what we get to do, honestly.
Mhm.
It is
It's a
movement is
privilege.
medicine.
It's, I'm grateful for the journey that we get to do, you know? And there's so many times during the training itself where we can start feeling sorry for ourselves. And that's when we have to like have self-awareness and reframe that to, I'm so glad that I can actually do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, those moments are so humbling. Like there was a couple on the bike where I, as funny as it sounds, I know you understand this, but other listeners who don't kind of do what we do might think it's kind of funny. But there's moments where I almost cried, and it was just because there was
Yeah.
so much frustration in me and so much pain on what I was doing. It just makes you almost want to like, just kind of scream and let everything out. But I mean, you just got to keep at it. And then after the emotions pass, because they are emotions and they will pass, you sit there and you're like, damn, that sucked, but I feel so much better. And
Yeah.
that is just one of the most rewarding things that you could do on a daily basis because it's just like brick by brick. And after a time, you're like, damn, I've laid a foundation. Now you start seeing a little more growth here and there. Like, such a privilege what we get to do. It is so fun, so painful, but so, so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and that's the best part about it is being able to like look back and see, wow, through all of these things that I put myself through, I became better and stronger. And it's the coolest part of the process, which kind of takes me back to you said number one thing is just show up, right? Well,
Mhm.
how did you actually start with this whole fitness thing in the first place? Like, were you always an athlete or was it just kind of something that you got into?
Yeah, so it's been like when I look back at it, kind of like a slow progression over time of just things amplify of me trying to kind of amplify the intensity. So like I was an athlete growing up in high school. I went to a small Idaho school called New Plymouth. There's about 1,400 people in our town when I was going there. Our class was 69 kids, so super small.
Super small.
Um, I was really, really athletic. And got some fun accolades back in high school, but I wasn't very big and just being from where I was and not having this big stature, and I didn't know the benefits and didn't take the time to like eat and really like train and build muscle, I was just never
Yeah.
going to be like a really good athlete at a big school. So I ended up going to college at Boise State for a year, and during that year really started to kind of, I guess a little before that, it was that summer I started getting into fitness more and looking into like bodybuilding.com. Chris Gethin was a since he was from Boise, I really followed him, and he was doing like an Ironman prep. And um at that point, I definitely want to keep my athleticism as much as possible. So I just started to get in the gym a little bit more, do kind of like a bodybuilding styled split. And I did that until from like 2018 to about 2020. Not very seriously. I was still partying a lot, being an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. Um, and then in 2020, at the end of it, I was one of the last hiring groups at bodybuilding.com in-house. So we did this training in-house for about 2 weeks, and then we were at home. And a couple months into it, I expressed interest in being on like their video team and kind of learning that
Mhm.
route. And then they actually asked me to be a model for some wrist straps and knee wraps. And when I was kind of training with this stuff and or training with the gear, got to be around like that side of it. I'm like, I actually think it'd be cool to be like a fitness athlete. I think it'd be cool to like be able to build my name into a sport or something, grow with that and grow my own community. And that was kind of the beginning of like dialing in my training just a little more. And then in 2021, at the October, I started as Price Pause video editor. About six
Wow, I
months
didn't
in,
realize you've been working with them for so long.
yeah. So it's been since 2021. And then my first trip with them was in January 2022. We went down to AP Regiment down in Florida, actually, down to their HQ. And I started meeting on these trips. Like it was AP Regimen. After that, we went to Core Nutritional's HQ, went to the Arnold, went to Raw Nutrition, had their collab with Ghost, the Ghost Legend Raw pre-workout.
Yeah.
And it was Ghost, Raw, and Naka. Um, and there was just, I'm just meeting bodybuilders. I'm meeting so many different athletes. I'm like, this is pretty cool. So then that's when I
Yeah.
started to compete in bodybuilding. And I did that for a little bit. Um, and then I'm like, I don't know if I after doing that for a couple of years, I'm like, I think I want to try something new. Right before the bodybuilding phase, I did a Spartan race, so I kind of dabbled in CrossFit. I didn't really like that. It was just so hard. Props to what you do. I am so
That's
scared.
why I love it so much.
It's so hard. But so it was essentially Spartan race, bodybuilding, and now I've just been like, I kind of want to go back into a functional training that's still intense. And then it was almost full circle because when I started this, I saw Chris Gethin doing the Ironman prep stuff, getting into Nick Bear's stuff more this year. He was doing Ironman, and
Yeah.
it just felt like this is what I want to do. I really want to be
Mhm.
able to train this way. It gives me the ability or the it gives me the openness to have a little more freedom in my diet, not be so constricted. Married
Truth.
life, especially, it's so hard to have literally two different meals going. So this way, it's like we can just have a little more high protein in everything we have, and I can utilize some of the carbs that are being ate now. But I've really enjoyed it. It's just been a slow intensity or slow increase in intensity in like the sports I've been doing, and just okay, now I've accomplished this, now I've accomplished this, now I just want to like keep growing. So right now it's
Yeah.
Ironman, um, and training for a marathon at the end of next month, hopefully. And then after that, it's like I don't know. I think I'll probably try something new if Ironman doesn't hit, but I kind of think I'll stick with this because it has been so fun to like lift, run, swim, bike, be able to do all these different things and truly feel like an athlete rather than just bulking up and cutting to the extremes where I feel uber heavy and feel like insanely malnourished almost.
Yeah, that's the like bodybuilding is such a great thing. Like I really respect the sport and I respect the people who do it. But at the end of the day, it for me it doesn't push me enough mentally in that sense where I just really like to suffer. And I'm really good at
Mhm.
like I did the whole bodybuilding. I did a bikini show. Like I was really good at suffering when I was at such low calories, but in like the most negative way possible. Like I should
Yeah.
not be suffering in restriction. I've learned that about myself because that just leads down a whole rabbit hole. So I think endurance sports are so much strength performance endurance sports are so much healthier for your mindset versus the bodybuilding where you can almost become very obsessed with your self-image, you know?
Absolutely. Plus, it just doesn't set a good habit in my head for how to eat and the relationship
Yeah.
you have with food. It
Correct.
truthfully, um, I got done with my last show the end of last November, and it's taken up until about a month or two ago to actually not have that voice in the back of my head. Like if I eat a piece of chocolate or have a piece of toast or something, I don't have that voice anymore of like, you're not getting anywhere close to your goals. This isn't gonna get it to you. You shouldn't be eating this. And I
Hmm.
really, really hated that. So it's nice to be back at a like healthier relationship with food and how to deal with that. Um, but on the positive side of things, I just think endurance training is so fun because you truly can find a flow state. I'm finding that
Yeah.
with like swimming, I can trance myself in ways that's like you're just in your zone and then you pop your head out and the workout's almost done. Same thing goes with running after a while or even on the bike. Like there's a lot more opportunity for me to just truly trance myself or sit in really deep thought. Um, I noticed that with swimming last week on my long swim. I just was thinking about some things in such depth that it blew my mind. I'm like, wow, I could really go in my head if I want
Yeah.
to. And it actually feels good because at the end of it, I thought it felt like a little mental therapy session too, just because I thought about a lot of things I put off, thought about it a lot about why I do some things I put off. And it's just like, this is so healthy. It feels so good. And it's really hard for me to get into that flow state I found in the gym because I'm blasting
Hmm.
music. People are always talking to me. I'm always talking to friends, and it's just hard to like with all the rest pause stuff too. So
Yeah.
it's just mentally, physically been just so much better for me.
Yeah. When did you start triathlon prep?
Probably like 6 weeks ago, but
Yeah.
truly last week was the first week I did like my full split because for that 4 or 5 week period, it was essentially like getting the equipment I need, getting the
Hmm.
memberships I need, figuring out like what is the best split because shocker, life still happens. I still have a job. I still have priorities I have to take care of, and I'm building things on the side too. So there's a lot of demand that I have to go throughout my day and to be a good husband at the end of it all. So it's
Hmm.
like it takes a while to figure out like, okay, how is my life going to look like while I'm prepping for something like this? So ended up finally finding like a good split. Last week was the first week I'd consider those like true first week of Ironman prep.
Yeah. What do you find is the hardest part about Ironman prep? Because I've never even considered doing an Ironman. It's just like swimming.
Hmm.
But um I think it's like such a cool sport and to be able to say like I'm an Ironman, I don't think people realize how absolutely incredible that actually is.
I will say it's 70.3. I'm sure the true Ironmen out there doing the full are not going to be happy if you saying it. So 70.3.
I feel
I
like you
think
all
I'll
got to start somewhere. If you're gonna do a
and
70.3
yeah,
and you fall in love with it, I know you're gonna end up doing the full one. So
absolutely. I definitely think so. What was your question though? I'm sorry. Can you
no,
ask
you're
your
good.
question
We
one more
kind of we
time?
went on a tangent. What is the hardest part so far that you found with Ironman prep?
Showing up,
Yeah.
just getting to and from the workouts and like it's just an extra little bit of time that I need to go to allocate to get to the rec center now. Thankfully, it's like a mile and a half down the road, but it's still extra time to go do that and come home. Same thing with like the bike. It's just extra time doing things that I'd want to be working technically. But again, I also treat this as a job, and that's why I know I could do these things is because when I commit to it, I know that I said I'm going to do it, so I'm going to honor that commitment to myself and I'm going to show up and make it work. If that means I
Hmm.
have to work on like content stuff later or early in the days, so be it. That's just what it takes to eventually reach a point of excellence in anything we do. It's time management and discipline, you know?
Yeah. And I for sure think
Yeah.
that like as the weeks continue to go on, you're going to really start to find that flow of like, okay, I know here's where I can do the most work because it's like transition times and stuff. And then you kind of
Yep.
become more comfortable with the routine that you're doing.
Correct. Correct.
How has fueling been? Because I know that's a big part of triathlon training. Like you
hmm
were already doing like the marathon stuff, like starting to dabble in that and doing, of course, strength training, but it's a
hmm
huge flip of the switch to be like, okay, I need to not just fuel enough, but fuel enough to perform at a high level. What does that kind of look like?
It's been different, especially with how different it could be when I'm prepping myself to go train in a bodybuilding type of split where I'm taking a higher stim pre-workout. I'm not drinking carbs usually during those type of training sessions unless it's like a really, really hard leg day in the past.
Hmm.
Um, and then you're like protein after. But when it comes to triathlon training, I mean, it's making sure I'm fueled up from not even the morning of, but the night before of like I gotta make sure now that I am staying uber hydrated. I gotta make
Hmm.
sure that I'm having a solid carb source not only before, but during and after, and an adequate amount of it because I was surprised of like how much carbs and especially electrolytes that I myself am gonna need more so on the electrolyte side. Like I'm finding I'm gonna need probably close to like I aim for about 1400, 1300 milligrams of sodium for per hour of like either running or on the bike. And that's just because I feel like I'm sweating more and that's just I felt a lot better than that. I've seen other recommendations like 7 to 800.
Hmm.
Um Again, though, I think that's it just depends on the body. You're going to have a different fueling strategy than I'm going to have, and that's
Hmm.
okay. And that's really fun about it is because every day is a learning experience with this and figuring out, okay,
Truly.
how many carbs do I want before? How many carbs do I want during? How much do I want after? And it's been fun to start to see also my body make these adaptations. Like I wear Whoop, I know you do too. I am just obsessed with my VO2 max in the last like seven,
Yeah.
8 months of like watching it start to slowly build. It's like watching a level on a video game. Like, oh, it just went up another point. I just reached another level. This is sick. You can even kind of feel it during the lifts of like, or during the training of when you're doing threshold work or you're doing longer styled training. You find that your body's utilizing those carbs, utilizing the fuel in ways that it wasn't maybe a month or two ago. And it's just treating your body almost like this experiment now. You're like, oh, I'm seeing how my body is adapting to these stressors I'm doing it or that I'm putting it through. So um I guess to answer your question, it's just I'm still kind of learning,
Yeah.
but it's just mainly come down to carbs and electrolytes at the right time, um, as well as preparing for it adequately.
Are you tracking your nutrition with macros or are you just kind of going off of feel based on how you perform?
I go off feeling how I perform. I've tracked macros for, I mean, when I was
I'm
bodybuilding, I
sure.
was pretty much tracking
Yeah.
macros from like 2022 to like 2024.
Hmm.
So I'm I'm eating relatively the same things that I would have eaten maybe a year ago. It's just the amounts are a little bit different. Or what I am eating, I've tracked it so much before than like I have an idea of where I'm at and what I need to be. Like
Hmm.
as long as I'm eating about 30, I'll say I was thinking about this yesterday, about 30 grams of protein a meal. I'll have about 4 meals a day. So we're at 369, we're at 120 grams of protein just from food, whole food sources, which is great. I'm gonna have a double scoop protein shake, whether it's in the morning or during the day on a rest day. I guess rest days are pretty limited at this point. So it's I'm gonna have that protein shake some point in the day. Right there, I'm at 170 grams of protein. At that point, you know, I have an idea of like, okay, now I need to have a little bit more. So I'm just gonna maybe add a little more protein, a little more steak, a little more chicken in my meals, or I'm just gonna have one more smaller protein shake right before bed, and I'm
Hmm.
good. So the protein is definitely the um biggest marker that I look for. And then at that
Hmm.
point it's like, okay, making sure that my fat sources are just healthy ones, and then my
Hmm.
carb sources are just strategically timed around the day and my training.
Hmm. I love that. I love that you also mentioned that you tracked macros for, 2+ years in order to get to this point because I know that so many people are so hesitant to start tracking macros because I don't know, they make an excuse for it. Oh, it's too difficult. Oh, it takes up too much time. It literally doesn't. I would
Hmm.
argue that it saves you time because you don't have to think too much about things. It's just like, okay, boom, this is what I have to do, and this is how I get results. But
Hmm.
you've gotten to this point because you took the time to actually track macros for a period of time to learn, okay, this is what 4 ounces of chicken looks like. This is what a true serving of rice or cereal or whatever looks like. And I think that's just very important for anybody who's listening to this to know. It's like you can get to that point, but I think that everybody should be tracking macros for at least a little bit of time just to understand what things look like. Because let's be real, most people don't know what a portion size is, especially when it comes to things like peanut butter, cereal, crazy.
Absolutely. I mean, even people who follow your journey. I saw your breakfast yesterday or today. It looks huge. And it's like you have to fuel your body for these things, and you'd be surprised on how much volume that you can truly eat while not killing yourself on calories. It's just doing it the right way. And the only way to do it the right way is to eventually track it, whether
Yeah.
in the past you've done it or you got to do it now. And it's not as hard as you think. It's just that first 30 days. Just make yourself do it. And after that, it truly gets so much easier.
Oh yeah, especially if you're majority eating whole nutrient dense foods, if all, because really that's the beauty of it. Most of the times it's really difficult to eat whole nutrient dense foods if you strategize right and you really lean on that protein. But most people just kind of lean more heavily towards like the processed foods. And I know we're like in this industry where there's like, oh, there's these protein snacks and stuff. I legitimately like never eat protein snacks unless it's an emergency and I have literally nothing else, or I'm doing it for a review. I'll have like a taste of it, you know?
Correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I usually reach for them for like my late night snack, like
Yeah. What are some of your favorites?
Muscle Sports protein whoopies. Freaking insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I had Sean Hawley on the podcast last week. He was telling me all about those. And he was like, by the way, for anybody listening who hasn't tried them and you're getting them, make sure you microwave them. That was literally his advice.
For sure. Let me ask you, what is your protein snack? Or actually, before I ask that, I want to ask you a more direct question. What do you
Yeah.
think about the Ghost protein bar?
I haven't tried it yet. In fact, it's sitting right there in the corner of my office, ready to try.
What? Oh
I have
my
to review.
goodness.
You know what? I'll review this tonight. How about that? I'll make that promise.
Facts. Facts.
Um,
Okay.
and the reason why I've put it off for so long, one is because I'm so fucking OCD, Cody, that like little things off of my plan freak me out. So I'm like, I'll do that tomorrow. But challenging those thoughts is the best way to come about it, which is actually why doing reviews has actually helped me a lot. Will help me a lot with help in terms of my OCD. But my favorite protein snack, to answer that question, is First Form makes this Power Pro bar. It's like their whole food based protein bar. It only has like 15 grams of protein, which for me, I like because then I can get more of my protein from whole food. And it's
Mhm.
the chocolate chip peanut butter flavor or peanut butter chocolate chip. The other ones are nasty shit, but that one tastes literally like the inside of a Reese's cup. It's phenomenal.
I'll have to give it a try. I haven't seen them. Are they at like the Vitamin Shop or anything, or is that DDC?
Now, unfortunately, it's just online right now.
Okay.
They have their level one bars, which are great, but they fuck my stomach up. But they have their level one bars in Vitamin Shop, and those are actually pretty solid. But now I'm gonna flip the question. What are your thoughts on the Ghost protein bars?
I really like them.
Yeah,
I think they went a really fun way about it. Spencer, our VP of operations at Price Plow, he said a really good of like it's when he saw it, he said it's just different enough to be Ghost. Like, and
right.
that truly is. And Dan talked about it a little bit on the podcast that we did with him. He said essentially like, look, it's not rocket science. It's a protein bar. Like you really, how far can you really go with it? So,
Truth.
and he's it's factual. Like some people are trying to do so much with some things. It's like it is a protein bar or it is an energy drink. It's this you can't really do a ton with it. Got just get creative though. And
Yeah.
if you do it right with the marketing, with how you go about things, I think Ghost did a really, really good job with it. I think their flavors are really good. I like the textures. And overall, I just like the execution of the marketing and how I
Yeah.
really think it's going to reach a different type of consumer for them. It's really going to get more hands off of a Twix and more hands on these, which is going to deliver a high quality protein source rather than something loaded up with soy or a bunch of fat and a bunch of carbs. And at the end
Hmm.
of the day, that makes me happy because that's one step closer to a healthier society. It's not going to make leaps and bounds, but nothing great will. It's going to take steps like these, and I think goes to the right thing here.
Yeah, I think that's another like kind of thing we're seeing trending right now is so many products having protein on the label. And a lot of the products that have protein on the label, unfortunately, protein Pop Tarts, I'm talking to you, don't have adequate amounts of protein in them for the amount of calories, for the amount of sugar, and the protein sources are crap quality versus like this ghost candy bar type protein bar, which people, it gets their attention because it's like, oh, this is, like you said, just a little bit different enough to be Ghost, where it's the dual format like a Twix bar. And if they can switch from like a regular Twix bar to say, you know what, I'm gonna make this swap, that's a huge swap because it's a high quality source of protein and it's actually a good amount of protein versus like a protein Pop Tart that they just put out that are 10 grams of protein as opposed to six. It's not like that big of a difference, you know?
Right, right. Yep, I totally agree. That actually
Mhm.
kind of that leads me into segueing into something I wanted to ask you about when it comes to these protein dosages. What do you think about the Rise prebiotic energy soda?
The 8 gram one.
Yeah.
I'm so I spoke to Nick Stella about it.
Hmm.
And he was like, the purpose of us doing that was so that it's just different enough that people look at it and say, oh, that's different. Let me try that. It's not just like nothing. And it adds 8 grams more protein into somebody's day who typically wouldn't focus on it because it's an energy drink.
Hmm.
Plus, it's not going to give it that like clear protein kind of texture that you might get if you put too much clear protein in it. But man, I wish it had at least 15.
I agree. I agree
Mm-hmm.
100% with all of it. That's true.
Because
It's
eight, like not even 10, bro, like eight,
yeah.
you know?
Eh, Yeah, I 100% agree for sure.
I feel like Rise is one of those companies that they do a really good job at listening to feedback, taking it and innovating their products. They just recently innovated their regular energy drinks to actually dial up that formula quite a bit because I'll be real, their old energy drinks did not impress me. That formula was not good. It was just basically caffeine with slight vibes added to it versus
For
like now they
sure.
have cognizin and L-carnitine. They have all these performance ingredients. And I don't know, have
Mhm.
you tried the new flavors yet?
I actually just got their frosted lemonade shipped in 2 days ago. It's in the fridge, and I've heard nothing but good about it. So I
Frosted
am excited
lemonade
to try it.
blew my mind that one. Like I didn't expect
Yeah?
it to be as good as it was because again, I wasn't very impressed by any other Rise energy drinks that I've had. Like they're okay, but they're not blowing.
Hmm.
Like I'm not going to go out of my way to get one, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited then. Let's go.
Yeah. But kind of takes me back since we're talking about a little bit of like different products in the industry. How did you actually get into like the supplement side of things and starting to post content about supplements and energy drinks? Like I know you started with Price Plow back in 2021, but how did
Mhm.
like things like how did that even start actually? How did that relationship begin?
Uh, the best way to explain it is, y'all, God has a plan. He
Yeah, he
really
does.
does. The way that I got connected to Price Plow was a buddy of mine who I didn't have not talked to for quite a long time. It was essentially like the brother-in-law to a really good friend of mine from when I worked at Dutch Bros, which is a coffee shop over on this side of the states.
You worked
And
at a coffee shop, but you don't drink coffee? What the hell, bro?
I don't drink coffee anymore. I
Oh,
used
oh, I
to. I
see.
used
See, I
to.
didn't know that part about you.
Yeah, yes, yes. So essentially, he followed Price Plow. Ben posted on his story that they were looking for a video editor.
Hmm.
So after like, I haven't probably talked to him really up for like a year up until that point. He sends me that story. I message Ben. I'm like, hey, let's hop on a meeting. And it went really well. So I started out just editing their videos on like a video by video basis. Then they found out I was a videographer, so like, hey, we do some traveling, and we're about to start back up because COVID had a lot of travel restrictions, and we were kind of starting to come out of that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I started going on some trips with them and documenting everything and just kind of vlogging their experience from their perspective. And then after doing that for a little bit, I was like starting to transition to like I want to have the ability to kind of tell my side of the story on things, whether it's like my personal stuff or with like fitness. And when I started bodybuilding in October of or it was like September of 2022, that's when I really decided like I need to probably start documenting this a little more. And I want to document the subs I'm using. So I would do a video here and there, just kind of like talking about like I'm using this, I'm using that. And then consistency plus time has led to me just now becoming the director of content for Price Plow and now building BevLab. Um, it really wasn't anything special. It's just I started it and I didn't stop and it just got better and um built my way into talking about some smaller brands into now, like Ghost and them giving me the opportunity to help build BevLab and kind of have that be my baby now and to be able to talk about that the energy drink side of things. Um but yeah, it hasn't really been anything special. It's just being just at the right place at the right time. God gives you that opportunity, and I just kind of friggin' rolled with it. And at the end of the day, it was just making sure I wasn't getting in my own way. I kind of just told myself I just want to keep showing up consistently, and whatever is going to build out of this, it's going to build. I've found that especially with like betting on myself. I was a college dropout because I wanted to pursue videography, and I learned very quickly that things just work out for you if you are doing the right things in one way or another. It might not be overnight, it might take 6 months, it may take 10 years, but I knew if I just set my standards and showed up every day, things would kind of compound and success would come in one way or another. Um, and that's just honestly what this has turned out to be, and it's been absolutely crazy thinking where I started and now the responsibilities and trust that Price Plow and the whole team has given me on that side of on that side of things. um it's just been crazy. It's truly a situation of like you never know where God's going to take you, and
Yeah.
but it's going to be so much cooler and so much more fun and so much more beautiful than what I have planned for myself. So I just kind of have tried to really let go, let God, and just I don't know if I'm going to work hard every day, something good can come from it.
Yep. That's exactly how I look at life too. It's just like if I work hard and I keep showing up for myself and don't quit regardless of how I feel, God's going to guide me in the right direction. I just need to like be aware of what is happening, you know?
Yep, absolutely. And that's my advice for anyone like wanting to bet on themselves or just who want to find success. Like find what it is, what you want to do, and just take steps every day. And at that point, don't stress yourself out on anything else because there's so many things that come up in our day-to-day lives, whether it's personal, whether it's business, that if you even think about what you got to do in the full day, it's going to stress yourself out. So just take the little steps. I look at it too as like when I'm on the bike or when you're looking at your workout for the day. If you look at the intensity you're going to be at halfway through the workout, you're not going to want to start. So that's why
Hmm.
you look at your first brick and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do this 2 minute interval, and then we'll get to the next point. And that's how you just got to look at life. Just take that first step, and then everything else is just gonna come, and you just got to deal with it. Just roll with it.
Yep. Yeah, that's literally my secret to getting through all my workouts is like if I have my coach loves 10 sets, 10 rounds. He loves that. Loves that. Like on Friday I had every 3 minutes for 30 minutes, so 10 sets of 1 minute max echo assault bike. And then so you rest for 2 minutes. It was the one of the most miserable things I've ever done in my entire life. I felt terrible when I finished, but again, felt great that I did it. But it was one of those things where 1 minute at a time. Okay, did that minute. Don't focus on minute 9, minute 10, focus on minute 2, then minute 3. You know, it's literally, and that's how you have to look at anything in life. When it comes to content creation, so many people never start with content creation because they're afraid to post the first video, because they're afraid of what other people are going to think. They're afraid it's not good enough. And it's literally just post the damn video, post the content. Who cares if it's not perfect? Post it, make it the best that you possibly can, but don't allow that fear of what other people might think impact what you're going to do with your life.
Isn't that funny how we have these fears of what people might think? And 99% of the time, those fears never come to fruition because people don't truly think as negative about yourself as we are to ourselves.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it's crazy the mentalities that we've made ourselves have over time. Like there's I've been blown away by the support by people I've gotten. And it's like these are all people I thought were gonna think I was so dumb for even starting,
Hmm.
and they're the ones supporting. Like you never
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I posted a video, I think it was Monday, it was on creatine. And I was like really nervous about this video because we all get in our heads like, I don't feel like it's good enough. It's good, but could it be better? And it's just like, I'll fucking post the video. I have to post the video. So I posted the video. And then Ben sends me a screenshot from the guys at Core Culture and they were like, oh, we loved Caitlin's video. It was great. And I was like, oh, thank you for sending that to me. I kind of needed to know that. So,
That's
and I'm
so
sure that
cool.
happens to you all the time where it's like, damn, was this good enough? You posted it has like 100,000 views and you're like, oh, I guess it was. And of course, you're always going to have those people in the comments who are absolutely stupid and don't need to be in the comment section of anybody's video. But those
Yeah.
people make me laugh. That's where I've gotten to the point is not everybody's going to like you. That's okay because you don't like everybody else. So don't worry about that. Worry about doing the best thing that's for you.
Facts.
Hmm.
Facts. Let's go.
Hmm. Um, do you feel like with everything going on with Price Plow and Bev Lab, like what are some things that you're most excited for with the future?
It's funny you ask that because I find myself not looking that far into the future because I'm so focused on like the mentality of I just take things day by day.
And that's a
Um,
beautiful thing. I'm kind of the same way there.
we're kind of like Dory swimming in this big ocean of like
I mean, I don't
we're
even know
just
how do we
swimming.
even like I feel like me and you we relate very well. Like we have conversations through Instagram and everything. We just like connect really well because we're kind of on the same journey where we're trying to do this content thing. We're also trying to do this athlete thing and we're with God as well. And it's really cool
Mhm,
that like same thing is like God puts people in your life for a reason. And like I
mhm.
started talking to you, then Ben slipped into my DMs or he followed me, and then I slipped into his DMs and was like, "Hey, thanks for following me." And he was like, "Hey, no problem. I like to support people who have great content. If you ever need anything, let me know." And I listened to that and I took that and was like, "Hey, I kind of actually have a question. How do you like start monetizing content? Because I kind of like what I'm doing, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing at the same time. Just let's hop on a call." So it's just kind of like really cool how everything kind of comes around when you actually take those chances and you believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never know. It's been such a blessing to be able to get to know you. It truly feels like I know you, and it's crazy
Yeah,
because we literally live on 1000% opposite sides of the country.
facts.
But yeah, it's truly a beautiful thing when you kind of find your people, and that's what's been really cool about getting into like these niches more and more deeply is like I have these roots now that there's certain people that I really gravitate to, and I've really found like a solid support system of people that are not only like here physically, like really good friends that I train with or
Hmm.
create content with here, but also a support system around the country, like Mike, Spencer, you, Ben, other people like that are on similar paths that are like willing to support, but not only support, but to push me to keep growing in one aspect or another. That's one thing that Spencer, our VP of operations, has just been a great addition to our team
Yeah.
because he not only is like really good at what he does, but he's already called me out on things that I do need to be better at. And
Yep.
sometimes I meet that with resistance initially just in my head of like, oh, I feel like I have to do more or whatever. But then I immediately check myself. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. You need to be
Yep.
more. And that's a sign of a really good person in my life. And that's why I find a lot of enjoyment and motivation like following you and seeing like you're hopping in a cold plunge too. You're doing hard workouts too. You're tracking your nutrition or you're trying to fool yourself the way I am too. Like it's a reminder of like when I don't want to, I may see your story and I'm like, she's getting it done. I don't have an excuse either. Or like
Hmm.
your situation with your husband, him being in the military, like being gone for a couple months at a time must be so freaking hard. And sometimes I can get in my head about going on like a long trip that's like 4 or 5 days. And I have to remind myself there's people who have it even more struggle in maybe that area. So that motivates me to be like, okay, buckle up, get it done, and realize that there is so much good in this world. Like, just keep your eyes on that because it's crazy how we as people have so many blessings of we get to have a roof over our heads. We have energy drinks to crack. We have clothes to wear. And we just
Hmm.
and we get stuck up on sitting in traffic for 10 minutes. We have a car.
Yep.
Like it's just refocusing on like the positive and also realizing this we need to challenge ourselves. We need people that push us. We need people
Yep.
that call us out on things that we could do better. And that is why I'm so grateful to have people like you and the rest of the prize ball team, in my corner and me and your guys's. Um, and why it's just been such a blessing to be able to get to know you over the last few months. I mean, when did we first like message each other? Was it like this
Bro,
summer?
I don't even know, probably. Yeah, I think it started with like energy drinks of some sort, right?
It literally feels like I don't remember a time without like
Yeah,
being in your
without like being able
DMs.
to like communicate with you and stuff and like seeing your content. I
Correct.
think the first time I saw your content was when you were trying like you were doing like a different drink every day for X amount of days. I can't remember. It was like a little series you were doing because I actually literally was blinded to this side of Instagram or to this industry. Like I was always into supplements. Like I've been training since I was fucking 18. I started as a personal trainer. So I've tried like every supplement you could ever imagine because I was always like I loved supplements. I loved ingredients. I loved going to Vitamin Shop or GNC and just like looking around whenever I found like a mom and pop supplement store. It was like Score. I love that stuff. But I never thought that there was like a place to make content with it. So I was always like, I'll lean onto like, I'm an online coach. I'll kind of lean into that. I'll share my CrossFit. And then I don't even know how it happened, but one of KJ's videos like came across my feed and I was like, oh shit, this is cool. And then I started like getting addicted to his content. I was like, oh shoot, this is like legit cool. And then all of a sudden, Price Plow and like you and all these other people started like finding their way onto my feed. And I started to see like how incredible this industry is and how I can really lean into that passion that I have and not be afraid of like, oh, this is stupid. People are going to think you're silly, like cracking energy drinks on the internet. It's like, no, this is like what it's all about. Like, and I've never loved creating content more than I have over the past, I don't know, not even it's been like 6 months of me doing this.
Really? That's all?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing social media for like 2020 is when I really heavily started doing it. Like I used to do YouTube. I used to do a lot of things in the past, and then I took a little bit of time off when I managed gyms. But then
Mhm.
2020, when it was like, okay, you don't manage a gym anymore because the government doesn't care about that. So I was like forced into, okay, let me just lean more heavily into the social media thing. So I started leaning into like the discipline, the mindset, the like, I was a first form Legionnaire. So it was like very heavy into that stuff. And then just like sharing my fitness journey. And then it turned into just like online coaching tips and stuff. And I couldn't really find my groove with content. I always felt like I was forcing it. I didn't enjoy it. And then I started one day, I wanted to try an energy drink because I always did coffee. And I was just like, I'm craving something different. So I texted my coach. He loves energy drinks. And I was like, which energy drink should I try? He was like, C4 Ghost. Those are great. Rain's decent. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got a Ghost sour pink lemonade. And I was like, I'm going to try this and make it like into a video. Like, coffee lover tries energy drink, and I was blown away. And then I started to slowly like post a couple more videos, and I was like diet soda review, and then it was like, oh, now we're reviewing protein powders. And then all of a sudden it's like, now here I am doing all this shit.
Crazy. This actually is a good segue that I really want to get into. I know your listeners have heard your story. I haven't personally got to truly hear your story and how you got kind of where you are today. Would you mind opening up about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you want me to start?
Let's just I like to know how you got into essentially the fitness supplement kind of space. And also I don't know if this is going to be too broad, but also I do want to hear about the CrossFit journey and what made you want to be a CrossFit athlete and what the plans are and essentially anything give me there too. I just want to really learn about you and your side of fitness, whether it's business or athlete.
Yeah. Well, let's start from the beginning. So I'll kind of make this as s- short as possible, right? So when I was 14, I was like never athletic. Like I played basketball because my dad was like the basketball star when he was in high school. So he like, forced that onto me. I got a little bit better in high school, but I was never like great at it. And I feel like it was a little bit of like resentment towards like, I feel like I'm forced to do this. So I was always like the kid who was picked last in gym class. I remember a time when I was in middle school where I tried to run a lap around the track and I couldn't even fucking finish the lap without walking. And I felt so terrible about myself. And that was kind of like, I kind of want to flip this switch and change this. And when I was 14, we moved to North Carolina from New York. I'm born and raised in New York City. We moved to North Carolina, and my father became addicted to Oxycontin. And when he was addicted to Oxycontin, I had nothing in my life. And so I said, I'm so miserable. Let me try to find a different outlet. So I started running, and running became like my outlet. It was my favorite thing. And I started to realize that there's more to fitness than just running. So let me dabble with like weight training. Let me get more into basketball. Let me, look at the nutrition side of stuff. And hi, I have severe OCD. So it turned into like very obsessed about this stuff, but in a good way at the time. And then it slowly started to become like a little bit eating disorderly, but I kind of fixed that as I got into high school. And then my parents separated, and me, my mom, and my brother moved back to New. So when I was like, I guess almost 18, when I was 17, and that is when my eating disorder got really bad. I went from 140, 150 pounds to 89 pounds at 5'6". So I got bad. And it kind of just happened. Like, I can't even remember it kind of thing, because it was
Wow.
just, I was so sick and so depleted. I just remember there were like times when I'd be on the bus home from college because I went to college, like a commuter college in Brooklyn, and I'd be looking at like an apple, and that was my dinner, and I would be unable to eat the apple because somebody on fucking Instagram said fruit is bad for you, you know, knowing damn
Wow.
well that I know like I'm into nutrition, I'm studying nutrition, I know what's right. But when you have all these voices in your head telling you like, hey, it has too much sugar, then you're not going to eat it. And I think that that's like one of the things that I feel like is starting to improve with social media is that people are leaning more towards like the performance side, like, hey, fuel your body and stuff, but there's still like some bullshit on there.
Oh yeah.
So I got to that point, and that's when I really, and the whole time I was still working out, I was training way too much. I was doing like an hour of Stairmaster weights. I was working out for like 3 to 4 hours a day of just like, I don't even know what I was doing at that point. It was just, hey, let me do more. Let me do more.
Hmm. Wow.
Um, and then I went to an eating disorder outpatient program. And that's when it was kind of like my wake up call of, okay, I got to get my shit together or this is
Hmm.
actually going to kill me. And at the time, I was kind of okay with that thought because I was just so lost and miserable.
Hmm.
But truly, I did it for my mom because she was the only one who was around at that time with me and like literally supporting me through it all. Like sitting at the dinner table, like crying, trying to finish eating because I did not want to, but hey, we're going to do this together kind of thing. And I ended up really getting into bodybuilding at that point because I wasn't allowed to run, I wasn't allowed to do any sort of cardio. But they were like, "Hey, you can lift weights." So I said, "Okay, cool. Let me lean into that." Did that, got into like some bikini competitions, started to like get better with my weight. But of course, bodybuilding kind of brings that restriction mindset back in a little bit. So I kind of regressed like throughout the years and I never truly recovered, although my weight I'm 125 pounds right now. So I'm definitely like way healthier and I'm
Hmm.
more performance. But I was always into bodybuilding and stuff and kind of obsessed with the aesthetics until 2020 when they shut down the gyms. I was managing gyms. I was in an extremely stressed out period of my life because of all the demands of managing gyms is wild. I was working all the time, barely sleeping. I was drinking 1.5 grams of caffeine a day and yeah, my adrenals were destroyed. So I took that opportunity as like, well, I have nothing else right now because that was literally everything. So let me just go all in on myself and like fix myself. So I did 75 hard, phase one, the whole entire live hard program, just kind of proved to myself that I can do hard things. And that is
Hmm.
what changed my life. Like I couldn't even talk to a camera if you asked me to before that. I promise you. Like I wouldn't be able to do a podcast. You wouldn't even recognize me. And that's when I fell in love with CrossFit is because I couldn't go to a gym. So I started finding like different workouts that I could do in my garage. And it was like all like more CrossFit based. And I started to find like more CrossFit people that I followed. And I started to watch the documentaries. And I was kind of like, I really want to do this because it's different than anything I've ever done before. And I love how much it pushes me in all different aspects because it's not just strength, it's not just endurance, it's not just intervals, there's gymnastics, there's always something to get better at and improve at. And I love that. And I love how hard it is because, man, it would just be easier for me because I'm really good at suffering and really good at endurance. I am like an enduring athlete. So it'd be really easy for me to say, you know what, I'm just going to do fucking high rocks because it takes out all the hard stuff that I can't do very well. But then that would make it way easier. So over the last 5 years, I started really dabbling in CrossFit, and I've had like one CrossFit coach who then passed me on to my current coach, who I've had as my coach for 3 years. And over the last year and a half, I went from training really hard, like I always trained hard, that was just who I am, to being like, I actually want to pursue being a competitive athlete. And I refer to it as chasing my unbelievable because it's truly something that I'm still trying to build belief within myself to do it. And for a while, I didn't put it online because I was like, I don't want people to think I'm stupid for saying, like, I want to be a competitive athlete because I'm so far off from it. But I'm going to chase my unbelievable and we're going to fucking see where it ends up, kind of thing, you know?
That's beautiful. That is, thank you so much for opening up about that. That just
Yeah.
gives me a lot better of a view of just who you are as a person. I always love hearing who made the person I'm talking to because we all have experiences like that. And my goodness, is it refreshing to hear that because I'm the same way in everything I've done. It's with bodybuilding, with what I did Spartan, when I told myself I was going to do this, when I said I'm going to train for a marathon. Like, there's a lot of me that doesn't believe that I could do it. There's a
Hmm.
lot of me that feels like people are going to look at me like, this guy, I don't know why he's posting about it. Like, this is like, I don't know. I just have so much negative talk in my head about that. And that's why I continue personally. I think you do too, to push every day, is because I just feel like I'm fighting the little bitch in me that's saying you can't do it, that you're
Yep.
not good enough to do it. And I just want to prove to myself, I know you want to prove to yourself, like, I know I can, because I know deep within me that I was made for something great. I was made for something hard. So it's it's so refreshing to hear that, because every single day I have to fight that voice. Every single workout I do of like, you could take it easy or no one would really care because you're not going to be a competitive athlete in one way or another anyway. I just have so much negative self-talk, and you just have to like swim it out. You have to run it out. You have to lift it out. You have to bike it out, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Like, that voice is usually gone at the end of every workout, because I could sit there, I could look in the mirror and I could say, I just did it. I won
Yep.
today.
Hmm. I think this whole journey is about building belief within yourself through the actions that you take. Like the only way for you to build confidence and build belief is to start stacking wins. And the only way to stack wins is to take action instead of just thinking about action and
Mhm.
procrastinating that action and thinking like, oh no, I can't do that. And, trying to find the perfect plan when really it's just like we started at the beginning is like just showing up and understanding that just like yourself, I truly believe that God has put me on this planet for a reason to become bigger than what I am currently. And I think that he has a
Mhm.
really great plan for me and I truly believe that. And it's something that I've believed since, and I haven't shared this too much, but in 2020 I tried to take my life and I failed. But I failed and I didn't look at it as, oh, let me try again. I looked at it as, okay, God needs me here. I'm not sure why right now, but I will not be here again. And there have been many times where I've gotten to that dark place and I've built my relationship with God so much over the last 5 years that it's never a thought in my head anymore because I would never want to do something that would hinder me from going to where I truly belong. But it's one of those things where I know so many people struggle with those thoughts because they have those negative self talk going on. But at the end of the day, just keep in mind that you are here for a reason. Every day that you wake up, there's a reason to it. There's purpose behind it. Whether you know it or not right now, you have to find it.
And the only way to find it is through the dark. It's through the tough. That's the hardest thing for me to relay to people, because no one wants to do hard things. And it's like, what does it take for me to do this, to do that? I'm like, honestly, you have to go through the mud in one way
That's
or
it.
another. It's as simple as that. Whatever it is, you have to do the things you don't like in one way or another. and you have to learn to just deal with it and to move forward and find the positivity in it. And then everything else will take care of itself. It's truly the hardest thing to relay, but I know that everybody has that switch in them. They just need to flip it and stay committed to it.
Yep. Damn right. Damn right. I love it. And the only way that people might be like, oh, well, I'm not as disciplined as you guys, like listening. I don't have as good of a perspective as you guys. Well, we didn't either. We
I,
built it through doing this stuff, you know? Every single day I have battles in my own head with all this stuff. And I'm sure you do too. But it's
oh
about
yeah.
just keeping the commitments you make to yourself and seeking that intentional discomfort every day, whatever that looks like.
And I often tell people like the beginning is the hardest part.
Oh
Like
yeah. Hell yeah.
truly, when I look back, starting sucked. It really
Mhm.
did. Whether it was starting videography, starting my fitness journey, starting content creation, it sucked because that was the most, at least as up to this point right now, that's the most negative self-talk I had consistently of like, this isn't gonna work. You're doing the wrong thing. You
Yep.
don't have any following, XYZ. Um, like it's so hard, but if you just keep going and have the mentality of how I look at it is being undeniable.
Hmm.
And that's like what you said, it's stacking the wins. It's getting the repertoire, getting the reps. It's getting to the point of where you could look back in content creation wise. Someone says you're not a content creator, not even someone. I tell myself, I'm not a content creator, I'm not a fitness influencer, whatever. I could look back at my page and I could find the videos I've done, the ones that have performed
Hmm.
well, or just I think I just passed like 1,000 posts on my personal anyway. It's like, well, I have 1,000 reasons of why I am this. Or same with
Yeah.
like I've done 3 bodybuilding shows. I have 3 reasons why I could say I've been a bodybuilder, or I bodybuild, or I did bodybuilding. I could say that I've trained for a triathlon because I'm living it right now. And one day, July 26th, I think next year, I will be saying that I'm an Ironman 70.3 because I did the 9 months of training. I did the race. That is undeniable. You can't take that away from
Hmm.
me, and I can't take that away from myself at that point, which is by far the most important thing because that's we have that in us. We have that good and evil. We always have that voice of like saying you're not good enough. It's just building that voice saying that we are good enough, that we can do it, to be enough to just, it just makes that voice smaller and smaller every single day.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's about building undeniable proof. That's really what it comes down to. Just that when those negative self-talk come in, you could be like, "Oh, well, I'm doing the work and I'm building it." That's all that matters.
Correct.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I'm a pivot and we're going to do some rapid fire before we finish up here because I think that this is a fun way to end it. So,
Oop.
obviously, it's all related to supplements and energy drinks because this is the world that we live. So, favorite energy drink of all time? I know. I'm
I can't,
sorry. I'll
you
let you
know,
pick. I'll let you pick three if you have to. But
okay.
yeah,
I was gonna say I can't pick a
it's hard to
favorite. I
pick.
truly
Yeah,
can't. But I will say Ghost Energy, Misfit Energy. I'm gonna go with Bum Energy.
bum is
I'm
solid.
going
What's your favorite bum?
root beer, Dr. Bum.
Yeah, those two are literally untouched in the bum.
Yep. Untouched in the bum. What about
Untouched in the
you?
bum. I'd say Ghost Raspberry Cream is currently my number one. So Ghost, I would say 3D is a killer that I love. And then it's gonna be either Gorilla Mind or A Bomb. I really like A Bomb.
I just had someone in my DMs yesterday say that their A-Bomb Orange Cream is probably like their favorite of all time. It
It's
is
ridiculous.
delicious. Their kiwi, I think, is their best flavor in my opinion. That or their black cherry vanilla.
Yeah.
A-Bomb is so underrated. So underrated.
So underrated. I had Brandon on the podcast a couple weeks ago and he was talking all about like, you know, all that they do to be the brand that they are, like even the cans, like the way it's all painted on by this machine. There's only like one of these machines in the country. And I'm just like, I look at the can now and I'm like, I have so much respect for this can?
That's so cool. Right on.
Yeah. So favorite protein powder brand.
Favorite protein powder brand? Right now, I honestly gotta go with UXO. They just rebranded to Die Trying Company. I am affiliated, but um code Fern, but I really do enjoy the protein flavors that they're bringing. Their salted caramel was one of the most recent they dropped, and it is unbelievably good. Just I usually do 2 scoops, like I said, so like I'll throw two in. It mixes up so smooth, and it's like the perfect blend of like sweet and salty for me that like
Mm.
it's won my heart. So I gotta go with them. How about you?
First form. And the only reason is because I've been with them so long and their protein powder just agrees with my stomach so very well. And they recently, I think it was like a year and a half ago, they went from having this protein powder that had like 16 ingredients, like a very long list of ingredients, which, it made it incredible because it was like creamy and delicious, to lowering it to like 5 ingredients. And to me, I really haven't noticed a difference in like the consistency and stuff, but it's just so much cleaner?
Okay, right on. Solid
I
pick. I
must
gotta try
ask
first
though,
form stuff.
favorite muscle tech, or not muscle tech, muscle sport protein flavor, because I know that's a big one that people love.
Gotta go with their monster cookie. Their
The
monster
monster
cookie
cookie.
is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Mhm.
Unbelievable.
Nice. Yeah, no, I mean, he is the sub chef for a reason, I guess, huh?
Facts. What about you?
I haven't tried any. Yeah,
We
yeah,
gotta fix that. We gotta
yeah.
fix that right now.
Yep, yep. I think one of the reasons why, one, because like I said, I'm still trying to beat these OCD thoughts, but a lot of my OCD is like surrounded around like I can only have this one brand, and if I have another brand, my whole body's gonna explode or something. Who knows? But again, challenging thoughts. Um, but also I go to their website and I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know which one to get.
There's so many. And the nice thing to know is they're all so good. They
Yeah, and that's
truly are.
one
I've
thing that
never had a
I've
miss.
heard from like every single person I've had a conversation with is whatever flavor you get, you will not be unhappy.
Yeah, their pistachio ice cream is incredible. Their Huckleberry cheesecake guy back there is so good. Everyone,
Hmm.
every single one.
Hmm. What is your favorite supplement company? Here's what was a moment where you received a package from a company and you were like, "Holy shit, did I just get a package from this company?"
Ghost. That
Yeah.
was when I started with Price Plow. I was like, if I can get on like their PR list or get a free package from Ghost, I would consider myself made it in a way.
Yep.
And that is by far the most exciting one I've ever like knowing that I get those packages is it like it's one of those moments where like I'm making my younger self proud in a way of
Yeah.
like I know I'm fulfilling 5 years ago Cody one of his little dreams, one of his little checkbox, which is super super cool.
I love that. No, and it's the same for me. It's just kind of like when you get boxes and you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't order anything." It's kind of like really cool, but also it's like, where the fuck do I put all this at the same time?
Right. I mean, and it's more personal when we care about it.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
truly, it now is at a point to like there's someone out there who values my opinion or my thoughts enough to be able to ask for it and
Yep.
ask for us to publicly give our thoughts on it. And I'm like, that is the coolest part, is because we're getting to the point where people trust us enough and value our opinion enough to be like, hey, will you please try this? Like your Celsius situation,
That was so
that
funny.
is such a cool situation like to be in.
Yeah,
It's like
right?
so cool.
Yeah, no, for
Ha-
me, it's probably Axe and Sledge sent me the collab. That was a cool collab. Um, or C4 when they send us energy drinks. I think that's the coolest thing to be like. My coach is a huge C4 fan. That's his favorite. And I sent him a text message and a picture of when I got the Godzilla and the serial killer. And I was like, I've made it. He was like,
That's
congratulations.
that's so cool. And I think you're like me too, to where it's awesome to be put in a position to bless our friends and our family too. Because there's a lot
Oh
of
yeah, I
stuff that
give
we
so
get.
much stuff away and I love doing
Right.
it like from the bottom of my soul. It feels good?
Same, because I remember I made my first stupid credit card purchase when I was like 17 or 18 on supplements. It was on
Of
Caged
course.
Muscle Subs, and I got like the pre-workout intro post, and I was like, I know how expensive subs are, and if you really care about it like I do, like I would have taken free subs and thought it was the best thing in the world. So being able to
Oh
like
yeah.
give people free energy drinks, people free subs, be like, hey, these are actually good quality too. Please enjoy.
Hmm.
Like it just makes me happy because I'm like, I know I would love that. Subs are expensive and they're a lot of fun. So being
Hmm.
able to like bless the people around you, that has been one of the coolest parts of like what we get to do
Yeah.
is like sharing
That
the
truly is
love.
my favorite. Yeah, my mom is coming to visit for Thanksgiving next week, and I'm like, I have so many things for you to like try and bring home if you want, like you can come shopping in my office.
I love trying to put my parents on subs because they're like starting to get to the age to where like
Yep.
they need to be like maybe supplementing some things for like
Yeah.
organ health or whatever. And I'm like, don't go to the doctor yet.
I got
Try this.
you.
I got you. Like, it's fun trying to get my parents like creatine, even like trying to spike my mom's like drink with some creatine or Diet Pepsi. Just
Just like
friggin'
slip
come
it in
on,
there.
get in there. Yeah, it's fun. It's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, it's like I've been getting my mom onto focusing more on protein over I've been trying to do this for like the past 5 years. But like over the last year, I feel like we're starting to make progress here. And so she got a Ninja Creamy and she loves it so much. And I was like, hey, you have to try the Ghost Count Chocula in your Ninja Creamy. I think you would love it. So she went, she got it from Vitamin Shop, and she texted me yesterday and was like, this makes the best Ninja Creamy ever. I was like, I got you.
Oh, I bet that Count Chocula, that is up there for one of my favorite protein flavors. Like it's so
They
simple,
nailed
but
it. Nailed it. Like even it's not just a chocolate, it's literally like cereal. It's crazy.
I crushed that tub in literally like a week, week and a half,
I
just double
bet.
scooping that thing for days. It was so good.
Hmm. Hmm. And final question, it's a double-edged question. If you were to make your own energy drink, what would the flavor be? Same thing goes for a protein powder.
For a protein powder, I would do, that is a great question. I would have to do inclusions because I'm an
Of
inclusion kind of
course.
guy. I'd have to go with that. I would probably do some type of I would do some type of like cranberry pastry
Ooh,
type of protein, like a cranberry
very different.
cheesecake or something. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
cranberry guy. And then for an energy drink, I do have plans to hopefully have my own energy drink. So I don't want to give this all out, but
For sure.
I will say it's going to be something citrusy, something tart, but also
Yeah,
mixed with something sweet that's never been done. I really want to
that's my
do
vibe.
sweet and tart and maybe even a little bit sour. Nailing all
Ooh,
those with like a nice little formula to go with it.
of
Not too
course.
complicated, but something that's going to give us athletes a little more benefit, a little more juice.
Yeah, that's something that I've always looked into. I've even like formulated my own pre-workout and stuff, and then I get like the
Nice.
cough back, and I'm just like, oh, I can't not do that. No,
Not
maybe
yet.
later.
Not yet. We'll put
Maybe
it in the back
later.
burner.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
So protein powder would have to be something peanut buttery, but not just peanut butter. It'd probably be like I'm gonna say like a graham cracker peanut butter type situation, like maybe like a peanut butter pie type thing. But I really like the idea of like anytime I see somebody do like a golden graham type of variation of a protein powder, but like can we add some saltiness from the peanut butter? So something like that, like a honey graham peanut butter, or even like a peanut butter oatmeal cookie type situation.
It's funny you say that for the protein powder because when you asked me my question, the first thing that popped in my head for whatever reason was Accent Sledge's honey. Was it honeygram? Is that what they did?
It's something. It was like Teddy Graham type shit. Yeah.
Something unbelievable.
Yeah, I never tried it, but I saw it and I was like, "Oh, I want that." And it was like out of stock. I was like, of course,
Of course.
always the
What
ones that
about
I
what
want."
about you for energy drinks?
Ooh, energy drinks. So for a while, I was like thinking about this, and I was like, "Well, how could I make it different?" And immediately, I love citrus. I love lemonade. So I was like, "What if I did like a lemonade cream, like a frosted lemon?" And then fucking Rise was like, "I got you, Caitlin. We're gonna make it and take all the credit." So if I were to do something, it'd probably be like a frosted strawberry lemonade, or even like when I created the pre-workout, I dabbled with a strawberry lemonade pineapple and I fell in love with the flavor. Again, one of those things that's on the back burner for now, but we may revisit in the future. But that kind of flavor I really like, and I love the idea of like the sweetness and the tartness kind of mixing and, creating that experience.
Nice. Well, I know when I get to formulate my energy drink or Bev Lab one, whatever, we will definitely be talking to you about helping flavor because
Yeah.
we gotta have the Caitlin's touch on it.
Of course, we got to have it. We respect each other's opinions.
Of course, of
Oh, yeah.
course.
Awesome. Well, Cody, let the people know where they can find you.
Instagram, Cody underscore Fernley or BevLab. Same with TikTok. If you just look up BevLab. I don't really do personal TikTok anymore. And then YouTube. Cody Fernley or BevLab. Look it up, follow, support, and of course, make sure you're following Caitlin and her journey as well.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Go follow Cody. Everything that he just explained will be down below in the show notes so you guys can easily find it. And go out and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.